This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to play some clips here from another quote-unquote celebrity who is out there pretending that they're a part of a coalition against child abuse. And that is Blake Lively, who's giving an emotional speech on child pornography at the Variety Awards or some women's empowerment, Power of Women Variety Awards. More feminism and women's empowerment, but it's an absolute joke. It's like I talked about with Ashton Kutcher, who's now supposed to be a spokesperson speaking out against this stuff. What happened was all the stuff with Pizzagate opened a lot of can of worms where people started researching Hampstead, Franklin cover-up, all the things I talk about, McMartin. People started realizing this stuff was going on, listening to videos like mine talking about Aleister Crowley's teachings, the Talmud, the connection to all this stuff and pedophilia and how it runs rampant, how much money child sex trafficking makes. But they call it just human trafficking because they try to pretend that children are trafficked and sold around the world to do labor, not for sex, not for satanic rituals, when for a fact we know that this is done as part of satanic ritual abuse. These children are bought and sold. They're molested. They're raped. They're tortured. They're put under trauma-based mind control. Most of the time, they are murdered and killed. That's why all these kids go missing and no one's ever found. But you couldn't go missing if you wanted to this day and age with the technology that we have. But what we're seeing is celebrities now bringing attention to it because that's what they've been asked to do by their handlers. Because they know that the power that these celebrities wield over influence and mind control on the masses out there who look up and idolize these false idols. So they tap them on the shoulder and say, go out there and speak about this. Okay? But never bring attention to what it's really about. So they talk about child abuse and they talk about child pornography, but then they want us to look at one another. They want us to look at the guy next door. Are there people who are not a part of this satanic ring who are pedophiles? Yes, of course. But the amount of people in Hollywood, our government, CEOs of corporations, who are all Freemasons, who are all followers of the Babylonian mystery religions, all of these people are a part of these satanic child abuse, sex trafficking ring. So let's listen to a few clips from Blake Lively here, who is playing the role once again like Ashton Kutcher, pretending to cry. I mean, it's a pretty pathetic performance. Like I said, I always say it's a small part, I know, but could we get a better actress? This is supposed to be some type of award-winning actress here. She can't even muster up tears. She almost looks like she's laughing, talking about child pornography. Take a look for yourself.
So I'm here today because I'm a mama, and I have two baby girls. Well, they're not babies, but I think they are. James and Inez, and they are my world. And I would do anything to protect them. I would literally die for them without a moment's thought. And for those of you who have children, I think you know what I'm talking about. I mean, if you think of what you would do for your child, I don't think there's anything you wouldn't ask of yourself. So it got me thinking, what is the value of a single child's life? And what is the value of a child's life who isn't our own? Like, what is her little life worth, or his little life worth, And the sexual exploitation of children is something that isn't happening rarely. It's not happening worlds away. It's happening right here and right now. So to show you
why are
guys
you laughing?
while I'm talking, there's a map.
Looks like
right
you're pretty
here.
happy.
And if you guys look up at this map, every time a dot shows up, is it live? What's happening?
Yeah, every time a dot shows up, what?
There you go. Now they have it live. So every time a dot shows up, that is someone that's trading or viewing child pornography right now as we speak.
Likely in the building that you're in, it's going on.
This is.
Likely your handler's doing it. Likely your bosses in Hollywood.
I didn't really know what child pornography was. We all sort of have an idea of
Definitely
it,
going on in the temple nearby, the local synagogue.
Because it would be very painful to hear. And I felt like I had to ask, though, and I feel like I have to share it with you guys now. And it is disturbing, and I want to warn you, but I feel it's my responsibility to tell you guys because it is the truth.
As if you know the
I
truth.
believe if we all knew this,
and you'd really tell everybody. You know the truth.
Stopping it. So when I asked what child pornography entailed, yes, it's nude images of boys and girls under the age of 18. But now, because of high-speed internet, it's also videos very prominently. And videos of kids, and by kids I mean prepubescent, visibly prepubescent. And they make the distinction because of the internet and there's so much content, these pedophiles are desensitized. Because of that, the kids are getting younger, and
using the trigger word desensitized. See, devastating. This is to desensitize people from the truth. That's what this is.
I asked him how young are the young kids he's seeing, and he told me infants. And
she's holding back. Look, she's laughing. So unbelievable.
What does that mean?
Infants.
You know, like,
infants.
What does an infant mean? And he said, with the umbilical cord still attached. I know, it's so devastating to hear this.
And you know where it's going on, where they condone this? In the Talmud. All the Jews who run Hollywood, the fake Jews, they're all doing it right now. Your bosses who give you money are the ones doing it, and you're probably involved as well, or at least have been abused in your life.
In our days and in our personal life. So I asked them what happens in these videos, and, you know, unspeakable things happen, but I'm, again, going to speak about them because I feel like if these kids are experiencing this, the least that they deserve is for us to hear what is actually happening to them. So, no, it's not just touching. There is penetration. There is extreme torture and bondage. There's bestiality, which is having an animal penetrate the child or infant. There was incest. I mean, they said you think of it, anything you could think of, it's out there and it's being traded. And it's 30 to 50 million files a day being traded that we know of. I mean, you can see what's happening right now. And
she looks so emotional,
doesn't
she?
Any child and every child. You know, 90% of children know they're abusers. So, you know, our children are at risk. You may know this person. It may be a doctor. It may be a coach.
Right. Maybe a coach.
You know, I thought that...
maybe your rabbi.
People that were working with children were people that wanted to protect them.
Ooh.
But oftentimes these people who have this propensity for wanting to lure children, and they find out a profession that gives them access to children and lots of them. And ideal victims are young children because they can't speak up and they don't make great witnesses. If they do, only 10% of children actually do speak up once they've been abused. So what's incredible about the Child Rescue Coalition is that they are proactive. They don't wait for these children to speak up. They can identify these pedophiles.
By going into the synagogues? Is that how they identify them? Because they're all in there.
They don't know. There's no
you can just walk down Hollywood Boulevard and find a bunch of them.
See the IP address.
Go to the Oscars.
Files, and they
go to the White House.
And
the Senate.
Of these files is a felony, so law enforcement can knock on that.
I can identify them too without your fake program.
That person has
Give me a break.
Because the average abuser abuses between 50 and 100 children in their lifetime. Per person, per abuser, and the average person that views child pornography, between 55 and 90% of people viewing it are actually hands-on abusers or will become abusers. And you know, you think that sounds like a lot, 50 to 100, maybe that's unrealistic, but the kids
try to keep a straight face. I know it's funny to you, but
they stay silent.
Not funny to people like me.
They age out of the sexual preference of the predator. And I was told the story of an oncologist, a pediatric oncologist who was raping his children with cancer by the hundreds. And there was a nurse who was working with children with mental and physical disabilities. And when he was caught, they asked him how many children he abused. And he looked outside the window at the snow and said, how many snowflakes are there outside? So this is so...
So we have the Child Rescue Coalition. They are going to be able to identify, they claim, these people before they act. Well, I could help out too, okay? All you got to do is open up the Talmud and how it condones rabbis having sex with children under 3 years old, with infants, with newborns. Open up Aleister Crowley's teachings. You know, Aleister Crowley is on the cover of the Beatles album, who's quote-unquote misunderstood, who is a pedophile piece of crap, because that's what he is. He's a piece of garbage. He's worse than that, but I won't say how much worse, because I want to refrain from using bad language. How he talks about preferably young boys for the best spell, for the best magic and the best enhancement of the spell. Use a young boy. And of course, eat him as well when you're done. So you want answers for the coalition out there? You see what I mean? You see how they're bringing attention to it because people started going, hey, how come this is happening? And with the technology we have and all this stuff, people are going missing. How is this possible? How is this possible? And instead of giving you the truth and talking about how Hollywood is run by pedophiles and Satanists, because they're all Satanists, and our government's run by it, and the CEOs of corporations and the people that we're told to look up to and admire are all part of this. Instead, they want us to look at each other and go, hey, your neighbor could be one of these guys. Can our neighbor be one of these guys? Of course. There's sick pups out there. But they're never going to tell you about the amount of money that is made through buying and selling these kids. And it's not just for snuff films. They film and record this stuff and they murder these kids. They ritually kill them during, doing ritual sacrifices. This stuff makes me so sick and so angry at how Hollywood is trying to address this. And people are going, oh, Blake Lively, it's wonderful. Ashton Kutcher, it's wonderful. You don't think these people are connected? Ashton Kutcher was married to Demi Moore. I showed a video of Demi Moore making out with a 12-year-old boy or some young boy. No big deal, right? Double standard, of course. A woman can do it. Abuse is abuse. Sexual abuse is sexual abuse. Child pornography does run rampant. But who do you think the people behind the big business of child pornography are? Who do you think's covering this up? The CIA. Our own government is covering up because they're behind it. That is what's going on here. Not, oh, let's look here. Your doctor. Could your doctor be? Yeah. But that's where they want you to look. So they're always going to point you in the wrong direction. They're going to give you a taste of truth. Oh, this is going on. Yeah, we know what's going on. What are we going to do about it? Well, we have a blinking light that's going to do stuff. Oh, yeah? Is that light that she's talking about that's blinking over and over? We can identify where this is going on. It must be just pointing at the White House. It must be pointing at Hollywood and every building in Hollywood. Can't imagine if that light would explode during the Academy Awards with all the pedophiles that are there every year. It's a who's who of pedophiles. And the core of this is Satanism. Crowley teaches it. The Talmud teaches it and says it should be done and it's okay to do. These people are out there. And it's coming soon where this is not going to be a big deal anymore. You heard her even say people are getting desensitized. Exactly. That's exactly what they're becoming, desensitized. And you can see her barely even, she's trying her best. I mean, I guess it's hard for her to act on cue. She's so used to having practiced her script, but she couldn't even muster up a tear. She was smiling. She's like, oh, and these children are getting raped by the millions. And she almost laughs. It's pathetic. It's disgusting. She knows damn well who the people are who are behind this because she works with them. They're her bosses, her handlers. And now she's been tapped on the shoulder, just like Kutcher, to push this, to bring awareness to this, which is fine. And it is good to bring awareness to it. But who doesn't know that child pornography exists? I mean, are people sleeping under a rock that they don't know that there's these sick people out there? The problem is that they've been told to think it's a guy in a trailer park somewhere or some drug dealer or some lowlife. Not the guy in the business suit, not the guy in the White House, not the guy holding the Academy Awards, not the guy in the music videos. They want us to look at each other. They continue to wave it in front of your face and go, look, this is going on, but it's here, it's over here, not over there. Don't look that way. Don't look at the billions of dollars, trillions of dollars probably, that's made through trafficking these kids. Don't look at the CIA's involvement. Don't look at these books that are allowed to be here in our country, like the Talmud, which should be lit on fire and crapped on. Don't look there. Like I always say, if it was the Bible and it was in the Bible, imagine the uproar, be on every news station. But it's hidden in their temples. It's not hidden. It's sitting in their temples, in their synagogues. And nobody cares. Nobody brings it up. And when you do, you get censored for talking about it. It's a complete joke. So this woman pretending to do good, pretending that she cares, obviously was asked to do this. As more celebrities are going to come forward and do this. They're going to continue to talk about it. Nothing's going to get done. That's for sure. Because they're never going to arrest themselves, are they? Is Blake Lively going to bring attention to it and then have her boss at Gossip Girl arrest her? Her boss at Gossip Girl arrested? You don't think the guy behind it, the producers, are involved? Of course they are. How do you think they get there? They will never, ever tell you what's really behind this stuff, but they will always bring attention to things if they get nervous because they know they need to deflect. That's all this is. This is them deflecting attention off of this stuff because what happened with Pizzagate, whether real or not, is it brought more awareness to all of this stuff. We see Barack Obama playing ping pong with a young boy and James Alefantis in the middle of the night in the White House. Oh, that's normal. Just James Alefantis dropping by to play ping pong with some random kid at 1 o'clock in the morning, according to the government, the White House website, which gives you the actual time that he signed in and entered the White House. Oh, that's normal. Give me a break until people start realizing that this is bigger than they could ever imagine. And it's not the guy next door. Could it be? Yeah. But these huge rings are all controlled by all of the people on our television, all of the people we've been told to admire and look up to. They're all a part of these satanic circles. They all swing together, they all run together, and they all protect the secrets and the vow of silence and secrecy that they've taken in these satanic circles, in these Masonic circles, to never reveal this stuff. So they will bring attention to it when they need to deflect it, but they'll never deflect it towards truth. They'll deflect it right back in our own faces and say, it's you, it's the guy next to you. But I'm the celebrity saying, we got to do something about it. So, you guys out there, right, you should look at one another. Same thing with all these fake events that keep happening, right? The race war, it's about us turning on each other, fighting amongst each other, looking at each other, never looking at them as they hide in their palatial palaces and Buckingham Palace around the world, these elites, and they perform these rituals, and they have children, which never gets talked about, who are born into this. Their parents breed kids to be sacrificed. It's that sick, but it's that real. You'll never hear them say that, ever. Oh yeah, there's women out there who have kids, and then those kids are used for sacrifice, and these women are taken care of, they're fed, they live in a house. Their whole job in life is just keep getting impregnated by these demons, these Satanists, and then kill the kids. You'll never hear them talk about that, because then people would start realizing Satanism's real, and this is sick and a problem. But instead you'll get this deflection of, oh, child pornography's going on, there's a blinking light, look up, we're going to help find people. Yeah, you want to find them? Look in the mirror, Lively. Look at your bosses. Look at every award show you go to, because they're all the people running it, all the people there are involved in it. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.